Hello everyone, this is Rajendra, and in this particular video we are going to talk about Docker volumes. Why this Docker volumes required, okay, and what is the problem that we are facing without Docker volumes, okay. So let's start, okay. So now before this Docker volumes, okay, we know that these containers are stateless, okay. So that means, let's say you have started your application and your application is doing something inside your container, okay. Now let's say it's storing some logs or whatever data we have that is generated from your application, okay. Now if that container gets killed, okay, and if we start again, so that the container that we are starting again will be completely fresh, okay. It will not have any data which was generated by earlier instance, okay. So that is why we call the containers as a stateless container, right? So what if you want to maintain the states, okay, in container? What if you want to maintain the state, okay? So for that purpose we need something which can store the data that is generated by application, and if that container gets killed, still that data will be there, okay, so that for next instance we can use that data, okay. So this Docker volumes will help us to do that, okay. So how it does, if you see, we're starting the container. So what it does, it will just mount any volume, okay, to the container. So what will happen, even whatever application will run and will write that data inside that particular mounted volume, and if container gets killed, that mounted volume will still be there, okay, and whatever the data is container writing or the application is writing, that data will be still there in that volume, okay. So when we restart your container again, in that case we can simply mount that same volume to that container, so we'll have a same copy and we can start writing the data from that state, okay. Now how this Docker volume works, okay. So if you see in the diagram, we use the host file system, okay, and then from that host file system we create some directory, because this volume is nothing but one just directories are there, okay. So we just mount that the host directory to the inside the container. So container will write that data inside the volume. If container gets killed, still that data will be available on the host system, okay. So now that same volume we can mount to the new container which we are starting, okay. Now there are a lot of other ways as well, means there are a lot of other volumes as well that we can, apart from our host machine, we can start this, we can mount different volumes as well. But again, for that purpose we need to install third-party plugin which will help us to mount the third-party volumes, okay. So in this particular video we are mostly going to talk about the how we can mount the host volume to the container, okay. Now let's move to the practicals, okay. So what I am doing here is, okay, first we know that how we can create a container and all, okay. So we have already seen that. So I have one exited container, so let me just remove that first. So docker rm is the command to remove the exited container. So name of the container is first, okay. So now it is removed. Now if I do docker ps-a, there is no container. Now first let's see, without docker volume, let's see if that data is really getting persisted or not, okay. So what I'm doing, let me start one container, docker run -d is for running in the demo, -name is for the name of the container. I'll give the name as a first again, and then we can provide the image id, okay. So I'm giving docker id, the image name, and if I don't provide the tag, it will use the default tag, okay, that is latest. So let's start the container. Now container started, so let me just show you that container is running or not. Yeah, here you can see that container is running and it is up from last 4 seconds. Okay, so now let's go inside the container. So how we do? Docker exec -it and then your container name and how you want to open the shell. Okay, there are different types of shells are there. Now if you see in this particular current directory, I have 3 files. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll create right now the application running inside this container is not writing anything inside the container. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll write something here. Okay, and then we'll see what if we stop the container, whether that data persists or not. We'll see that. Okay, so first let me create some data here. So what I'll do, I'll create some, like, this is the test data for Docker volumes. Okay, now I'm just pushing this data inside abc.txt. okay, now if I run it, you can see that here we have abc.txt file got created. Okay, and the content of that is abc. This is the test data for Docker volumes. Okay, so now I'll come out of the container. Now I come out of the container. What I'm doing is, now let's stop the container. So what I'll do, docker stop first. Okay, so I have stopped the container and now let me start again. Okay, docker start first. Okay, so now I'm starting the container and let me again log in into the container. I want to see when we stop the container and again start the container, I want to see if the data was data generated by application before stopping, will that data persist or not. Okay, so now let's log in inside this docker exec -it, our container name, and then the shell that we want to use it. Okay, so now we are inside the container. Let's do the ls. Here you can see that still that abc.txt file is there. Okay, let's see the contents. You can see that contents also is there. Okay, so what does that mean? That means when you stop the container and then you start the container, in that case your data will not be removed from that particular container. Okay, your data will still be there. Okay, so now this is about if you stop and then start. Okay, so now let's try if we restart the container, whether data is there or it gets vanished. Okay, so let me first exit out of this container, and then what I'll do, I'll use the restart command that we have. So what I'll do, docker restart and the container name. Okay, so now if I run this, you'll see that container got restarted. To verify whether it's really restarted or not, what I'll do, docker ps-a. Here you will see that that container is created 3 minutes ago, but just status up from 6 seconds. That means just now it got restarted. Okay, now container got restarted. Let's log in inside the container, docker exec -it sorry, then your container name and bash. Okay, so now I'm inside the container. Let me do ls. You can see that still this abc.txt is there and the contents are also there. Okay, so now again, this is again a second statement we can do is, if you restart the container, still the data that application has written is still there. Okay, so means if you start and then stop, or if you restart the container, the data will be there itself. Okay, so now the next step that we are going to do is, we are going to kill the container and then we are going to start the fresh container. Okay, so in that case, if you start that container with the same name, with the same image, okay, and then let's see if that data persists or not. Okay, so let me exit out of the container. First let me stop the container, stop first, name of the container. Now container got stopped. Okay, let me remove it, docker rm first. Now you can see that container also got removed. So let me show you that with the docker ps-a command. You can see that now there is no container. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll again with the same command that we have used to start that container, I'll start the container with us, everything is same. Okay, now you can see that container got started. Okay, so if you want to see docker ps-a, you can see that it's created 8 seconds ago and our status is 5 seconds up. So now what I'll do, I'll log in inside the container, docker exec -it, name of the container and then shell that you want to use. Okay, so now I logged inside the container and now I'll check if that file is still there or it got removed. Okay, so what I'll do, ls. So here you can see that now abc.txt file is not there. So here what we can say that if your container gets killed and then if you start with that same name as well as same image, your data will be vanished. Okay, so this is the problem that we are facing. Okay, due to that reason we need to have something which will still be there even though you are deleting that old container and starting again. Okay, so now that is the reason we have a docker volumes. Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll first create a docker volumes. How to create that we'll learn. Then we will use that volume and mount it inside the container. Okay, and then what we'll do, we'll write some data inside the file, logging into the container, and we'll write some data inside that. We'll create some files. Okay, then we'll remove that container. Okay, kill that container completely, we'll remove that. Okay, then again with the same command we'll freshly start that container, and then we'll go inside that container and we'll see if that data is still there which the first application has written. Okay, now so let's go one by one. I'll just first exit out of this container. Okay, so now first see how we can create volume. Okay, how we can create volume and what are the requirements that we have to create that volume. Okay, so what I'm doing, we have a command called docker volume. Okay, and inside that we have a lot of functions. So with the help of help parameter, let's see what are the options that we have that we can use to play around the volumes. Okay, so usage is docker volume command. Okay, so we have commands like create, inspect, ls, prune and rm. Okay, now if you want to create a volume, if you use the create command, that is used to create the volume. There is inspect command, display detailed information on one or more volumes. Then ls is for listing the volumes. Prune command is used if you want to remove all the volumes which are not in use. In that case you can use the prune command, so it will remove all the volumes, unused volumes from the setup. Okay, and then rm is again to remove all the volumes. Okay, a specific volume. Okay, now first thing that we need to see is, let's do docker volume ls. Okay, so it will list out all the volumes which are available. Okay, so now you can see that there is already one volume created. So what I'll do, I'll first remove that volume using rm command. We'll create a new fresh volume and then we'll use that with the container. Okay, so what I'm doing first here is docker volume remove volume name. Okay, now if I run this, you can see that it's got removed. Okay, so if you do ls, now you can see that there is no volume created. Okay, in this particular setup. So now first let's create it. Okay, so if you want to create a volume, we have a command docker volume create. First see the help. So while creating, what all information that we can provide is -d. Okay, so as discussed, we can create volumes from different vendors, as well as we can create it on our host machine as well. Okay, now if you want to create the volumes with any third party vendor, we need to have those plugins, okay? And then those plugin name is nothing but a -d option. Then again we have a -- label option, which we can use if you want to add some more information about volume, something like this is the backup volume where I'm storing XYZ images, okay? So something like this, you can give the all this explanation about this, or the metadata we call it as a about that volume, okay? And then this -o is nothing but a set a driver specific option. Once you choose a driver, okay, there are some driver specific option. Let's say I'm using a remote volume, let's say NSF, okay, NFS. I'm using NFS file system to store you create the volume, okay? So in that case, to connect to the NFS server, we need some information like the what is the NFS server, what is the user ID, what is the password, okay, or what is the path you want to use to create the volume. So all this information we need to provide inside the -o option, okay? So now in this particular example, we don't have support for external volumes. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a local volumes which are created on the host machine, okay? So now let's create it. So what is the command to create it? Docker volume create, okay? So docker volume create. Now if you see, for create we have two options. I'll use a driver as a local, okay, and then -o option, okay? So let me just give it empty. What it is saying, set driver specific options, default is a map, okay? So we need to set in a map format. So I'll set something like this, path is that opt, okay? So let me try if that works. So what it is saying, invalid option path : opt, okay? So let's try without -o option. So you can see that volume got created. Now we are not able to set up the path for it, but let's see what is the default path that got created, okay? So now volume got created. If you want to list out that volume, we have a ls command. You can see that volume got created, okay? Volume name is something like this, okay? So I want to create a volume with some specific name. So that is the reason I'll first delete this volume. So let me do this, docker rm, and then I'll give this id, okay? Docker volume rm, we should use docker volume rm. So you can see that it got removed. If I do docker volume ls, there is nothing. So now let's use that same command, but just docker volume create. I'll give the name, that is my volume, and then let me try to create it, okay? So now it is showing the volume got created with my volume name. So now if I do docker volume ls, you can see that this volume is there, okay? But we saw there is one command called docker volume inspect, okay? So what this command is doing, first let's see that, okay? So what is the command? Docker volume inspect my volume, okay? So now if I run it, now we'll see that more information about that volume. So what it is saying, this volume created at this particular time. The driver that we are using is a local, because we are creating a drive this mount volume on from the local machine, okay, or the host machine. Now what is the mount point? That means where this volume got created is inside varlib docker volumes my volume, okay? And inside that underscore data is the name of the volume is a my volume, and then scope is again local, okay? Now so volume is created. We have seen how this information is there and all. So now what we'll do, now let's create one container, okay, and then use this volume, okay, to mount it, okay? So let's do this. First let me show you if there is any running container. Docker ps-a, we have one running container. So let me first stop this, remove this container, and then we'll start fresh, and I will also mount the volume, okay? Now how to remove this? First we need to stop. So docker stop first, okay? Now it gets stopped. So let me remove it. docker remove first. Now it got removed. Now if you go and see docker ps-a, you will not see any docker ps-a. You can see that there is no container available. Okay, now let's create it. So how to create it? Docker run -d for running is an daemon -name is equal to first, and then sorry, we have an option called -v. Okay, hyphen will take value in a key value pair, so we need to provide the volume. So that volume that we have created is my volume colon the path where you want to mount inside the container. Okay, so inside the container I want to mount my volume inside /opt. Okay, and then you can give your container name, that is ust1. Okay, now it's not a container name, sorry, it's a image name. So let me start this. So you can see that container got started. Okay, so now if I do docker ps-a, you will see that container is running. And okay, now let me go inside the container. So what I'll do, docker exec -it, the container name, and then bash. Okay, so now I am inside the container. So first, whether it's properly mounted or not, if you want to see, we have a mount command. Okay, and then here you can see that this dev sd2 got mounted on opt. Okay, so this dev sd2 is the name given for the directory that we are using from the host machine and that we are mounting onto the /opt. Okay, so now first let me go inside the /opt. Okay, now there is nothing inside this. So what I'll do, I'll first create some data here. I'll exit out of the container. I'll rerun the container by killing it, and then again I'll use the same command. I'll use the same volume. I'll mount that same volume to this container that we are going to restart again, and in that case we'll see if that data is still there or not. Okay, so now first let me write some data here. Echo. So this is the test data for docker volume. Okay, so I have created this data. I'm putting that into the abc.txt. Okay, so that's it. Now if I do ls, this file is there. Now if I do cat, you'll see that the data whatever we have created is there. So now what I'll do, I'll exit out of this container. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll kill this container, because we know that while if you just stop and start it, that data won't affect. Okay, or even if you restart the container, still data won't affect. Okay, so now what I'm doing, I'm just killing this container. I'll restart it. Okay, so let me do this. Docker remove first. Okay, sorry, not remove first. I need to stop this. Stop first. So I just stop the container. I'll remove this now. Docker rm first. It got removed. Now if you do docker ps-a. Okay, so now everything is fine. Everything is fine now. Now let's create a fresh container. Okay, I'll give everything is same. Okay, this name is then volume, I'm mounting it, and then the image name. Okay, so let me create a fresh one. So now you can see that container got created. When it is got created is at the 5 seconds back. Okay, so now let me go inside the container. How to go inside the container? Docker exec -it, your container name, and then shell you want to open. Okay, so now I am inside the container. So first check the mount point. The mount point that we have given is again that /opt. So let me go inside the /opt. If I do ls, you can see that still that abc.txt file is there. Okay, so if you see the data cat abc.txt, you can see that this data is still there, which we have written when we started the instance of the container initially. Okay, so this is how the data is getting persisted with volume. Okay, even though you are deleting the container and restarting it, but what we are doing here is we are mounting that same volume to both the containers before the container that we used before starting it, the container we have used first. Okay, then we are removing that container completely, deleting it, and then again we are starting the another container with same volume that we have used for the mounting for the first. Okay, so that is the reason with volume we can keep a persistence of data. Okay, now let me just come out of it. Now there is one more way. Okay, there is a one more way through which we can mount the volume. Okay, so instead of creating a volume, you can simply directly give the host path and container path. It will directly mount it. Okay, but before that, what we'll do, we'll see just few commands. Okay, first command that I want to show you is docker volume. Okay, so let me show you first help. Here you will see that we have a prune and rm command. So let me apply prune. So what is the use of prune? Remove all unused local volumes. Okay, so now if you see now what is the local volume that we have created, that is my volume which is in use. Okay, so it should not be allowed to delete using prune command. Okay, so let's try it. If I do docker volume prune and then no need to give any argument, it will check internally what all the volumes which are unused and then simply it will try to remove it. Okay, so what it is giving warning, this will remove all local volumes not used by at least one container. Okay, so if you see we have only one volume right now and which is also getting used by container first. Okay, so ideally it should not delete anything. So let's try it. So you can see that total reclaimed space is 0 byte. So that means there is nothing to remove for this particular command. Okay, but now let's try with rm command. We have a rm command as well. Okay, so if you see rm and then you can give the volume name. Okay, so now if I run this, so you can see that remove volume is in use, so you cannot remove it. Okay, because it is attached to the container. So until and unless your container is running, you will not be able to delete this particular volume. So first let's go back to the container, stop that container, remove that container, then come back here and then remove this particular volume. Okay, so let me do this first. So what I'll do, docker stop, the container name is first, so I just stopped it. Now let me remove this, docker rm first. Now it got removed. So the next thing that we need to do is, now let's go back and try to remove the volume. So what is the command to remove? Docker volume rm my volume. Okay, so now if I run it, you can see that volume is getting deleted. Okay, so now if I do docker volume ls, you can see that there is a no volume created. Okay, now there is another way that we discussed is, without creating even volume, you can still mount the host system, okay, host machine path to the container. Okay, so let's see first how we can do that. Okay, so right now there is no container running. Okay, sorry, docker ps-a. Okay, there is no container running. So what I'll do, I'll create a container, docker run -d is for daemon, -name is for the name of the container. I'll give again first, and then there's a -v option. In that option we need to give the path. So what I'll do, I'll give the path something like this, opt/asbrew lib. Okay, this is the path from the host. I want to mount it to the inside the container. Okay, so now this is the host path. Use colon and give the container path. Okay, so whatever the path you are giving for inside the container, even though if that path is not there, automatically this container will create that path. Okay, and then it will mount this opt asbrew lib inside the opt directory of the container. Okay, so I have given the mapping. Now let me give the image details as well. Okay, so now image details is done. So let me run this. Okay, so now container got created. Okay, so now if you see docker ps-a, container is up and running. Okay, so now let's see if that is really mounted or not. So what I'm doing, first login inside the container, docker exec -it, your container name, and then bash. Okay, so here you can see that now I am inside the container. Okay, so now I'm inside the container. So what I'll do, I'll first see the mount point. So if you closely see, the mount point is opt. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go inside the opt, cd opt, and if I do ls, so whatever was there inside this opt asbrew lib directory, I can see everything here. Okay, okay, there is already a abc.txt file is there. Okay, so what I'll do, okay, I'll just remove this abc.txt. Okay, so now that got removed. So now what I'll do, I'll create one more file. So what I'll do, echo this is for direct mount. Okay, and then I'll put this inside xyz.txt. Okay, now that's it. Now if I see, you can see that there is a file called xyz.txt. Okay, so now I'll exit out of this. Okay, now we know that what directory we have exactly mounted from the host. So what I'll do, ls opt asbrew lib. Okay, so here you can see that we have this xyz.txt that we have created inside the container. So here we are able to see that. Okay, so let me just cat it. So what I'll just content show you asbrew lib. So here you can see that, okay, there is xyz. Whatever the content that we have written, this is for direct mount. Whatever the content we have written by going inside the container, we can see that. Now let's delete this container and then we'll see if that data is still persisting or not. So what I'll do, docker stop container name, then do docker rm your container name. Okay, so now everything is done. If I see the container list, docker ps-a, container is not running. But if you go and see the file, which is the directory that we mounted, host directory that we mounted inside the container, you can see that still that data is there on the host machine. Okay, so that is the reason when next time we mount the same directory to the new container that we are starting, so for that container you will see this particular data. Okay, so let's quickly see that and then we'll see the next one. So here I'm starting again with the same path. Okay, here if you see that I'm using the same path for mounting. Okay, so let me start it. So now container is started. So let me go inside the container, docker exec -it your container name and the shell you want. Okay, so now if I do enter, first do ls, check the mount point. So mount point we have is a opt. Okay, so now go to the opt first, do ls. Here you can see that this xyz.txt file is still there. So let me just show you this xyz.txt. You can see that this is for direct mount. Okay, so you can see that after creating a new container as well, and if you mount that same file, you'll still see that the data will be there. Okay, so this is possible due to Docker volumes. Okay, so this is how this Docker volumes are helping to store the data. Okay, now if you see, there is one docker copy command as well. Okay, so if I see docker copy, if you see the help, so what it is saying is flag shortened -h. Okay, docker copy, we have options like if you want to archive and then copy, -l is also for follow link. Okay, so docker copy options, then container, then source path space destination path. Okay, or there's another way, source path. Okay, so we need to copy from either from host machine to inside the container or from inside the container to the host machine. Okay, so both ways are possible. Okay, so if you see the first help, first we need to give the container name, then the source path. Okay, that means here in this case we are copying from container to the host machine, and here in this case you're copying from host machine to the container. Okay, so we have container running docker ps-a. so what I'll do, I have this command.txt. okay, so what I'll do, I'll copy this command.txt. okay, what I'll do, docker copy command.txt, where I want to copy inside first. Okay, and then I'll give just home. Okay, so now if I run it, you can see that inside home directory of the container this commands.txt file got copied. Okay, so now let's go inside this docker exec -it, your container name, and then bash. Okay, so now where I am inside user source app, but where we have copied this command.txt inside home directory. Okay, so inside home we copied command.txt. okay, so let me try to access it. Okay, so inside home it is not able to see. Let me just see if locate command.txt. okay, what is the command? Yeah, command.txt is the file. So cd. okay, so this is the home directory. What is the home directory we have is a /root. So if I do ls, inside there is a nothing. Okay, so why it is not showing anything? ls-a. so home means where it got copied. Okay, it should be somewhere, but it's not there. Let me check this. Do we have a locate command here? Okay, locate is not there. Let me use find, then I can use the name of the file we have is a command.txt, and then where I want to search is, I want to search in a /. Did I missed anything here? Find expression -name, it should be -name, not, or let me use the -h, that would be a better option for nowadays. Okay, find -h. okay, so it's not giving anything. So find command.txt. okay, so better thing what I'll do, what I'll choose is, we know that this user source app is the directory. Okay, so let's copy there. So what I'll do, copy command, instead of this I'll do user src app. Okay, inside this I'll copy. Okay, now if I run it, it got copied. Let me log in inside the container and user src app where we are copied. Here you can see that this command.txt is there. Okay, now if I remove this, remove command.txt, let me just exit first. If you see ls, now this command.txt is not there. Let me exit out of it, and then let me again copy this command. Okay, so now copied. Let me again go inside it. If I do ls, here you can see that command.txt is there. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll copy this docker file back to the host machine. So how we can do this? let me first exit. Okay, so we have already a requirement.txt, but there we have a app.py and not http server.py. so what I'll do, I'll copy this app.py. okay, so if you see, we have a app.py inside it. Okay, so what I'll do, docker copy. So we have to copy from the container. The path we have is user src app.py, and then you want to copy it here. Okay, so now if I do ls, here you can see that app.py got copied. Okay, so this is how we can use the docker copy command to copy the content from host machine to inside the container, or from inside the container to the host machine. Okay, so I think that's it in this video. Let's meet in the next video.